For every household name that emerges from this zip code, there are thousands of stories that simply stop. The standard narrative describes a frictionless ecosystem. We are told that Silicon Valley is a place where a good idea, backed by enough grit, inevitably scales into a billion-dollar reality. Central to this is the archetype of the rebellious college dropout, the young visionary who defies conventional wisdom to reach billionaire status before age 30. This polished, brightly lit version of the story is exactly what the global public is conditioned to see. This magnetism began decades ago. Early pioneers transformed a stretch of California orchards into a beacon for global ambition, creating a legacy that continues to pull in talent from every corner of the earth. As the successes grew, venture capital followed. Investors began pouring billions of dollars into startups, searching for the next massive exit. The hypervisibility of these multi-billion-dollar IPOs creates a distorted reality. On these trading floors, the scale of the wealth feels infinite and, for a newcomer, entirely achievable. But the public record is selective. It highlights the extreme outliers while obscuring the true scale of the industry. Behind the branding, the region functions on extreme, unrelenting competition. The physical toll is a standard expectation. Working 80 to 100 hours a week is normalized, and severe burnout is often viewed as a prerequisite for commitment. Out of every 1,000 startups that enter the funnel, 90% go dark, leaving a microscopic fraction at the bottom. Each gray point represents a founder who gambled their time, savings, and relationships on long odds. This is the concept of silent failure. The ecosystem rarely discusses these losses because maintaining the allure of the valley depends on keeping the casualties invisible. Consider the path of a developer like Alex. At 24, he arrived in the valley with a laptop, a pitch deck, and 3 years of savings. His first 6 months felt perfect. He spent his days in coffee shops making connections, and his nights sketching out a vision for a company he believed would change how we interact. But the runway started getting short. Deadlines became suffocating, stress became chronic, and sleep was replaced by 12-hour stretches in front of a monitor. The initial ambition shifted into a desperate, high-stakes battle just to keep the project alive for another week. After months of struggle, the venture capital funding finally dried up. Without a path to profitability, the team broke down. Unpaid teammates abandoned the project one by one, leaving Alex to manage the wreckage alone. There was no grand closure. The startup simply stopped existing, leaving nothing behind but an empty office and a vanished dream. Alex's story is not an anomaly. It is the statistical standard for the entire industry. The media cycle amplifies the victors to an extreme degree. By fixating on the tiny percentage of winners, it creates a feedback loop that encourages more talent to enter a system where most are destined to fail. This pyramid illustrates the industry's true structure. A single glowing peak is supported by a massive foundation of thousands who gave everything and received nothing. The filter requires an immense volume of failed experiments to yield the few financial exits that power the economy. This ecosystem operates by processing massive amounts of human ambition, discarding the majority to produce the outliers the world actually hears about. The next time you hear a success story from the Valley, consider the parts that were left out. The public record only lists the winners. The rest is silence. The struggle is intentionally erased